Great day, class. It's Mr. Sargent here with your Day 80 recap video for ELA and for Science. And this is day one of our new year. Happy New Year to everybody out there watching. Today in ELA, we're going to focus on a story about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We're going to be talking a little bit about poetry. And then later on in Science, we're going to be talking about the difference between living and non-living things. So let's go ahead and get started. We started class today by creating a circle map with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the center of it. And I asked the students to think of words and phrases that would describe what they already know about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And some of the answers were really incredible. They talked about how he was a great speaker, how he was a great leader, how he was a great teacher. And, well, they talked about his I Have a Dream speech, which is going to be the focus of a lot of our lessons this week as well as the next. We then went ahead and started reading the story, People of Character, Martin Luther King Jr. So let's go ahead and read part of it right now. You have probably heard of Martin Luther King Jr. There's a street or a school named for him in almost every state in the country. There is even a holiday named after him. But do you know why he is famous? Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15th, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. At that time, African Americans didn't have the same rights as white people. They could not eat in the same restaurants as white or go to the same schools. This did not stop Martin. He went to segregated schools and got many degrees. He loved to learn. After his schooling, Martin became a pastor at a church in Montgomery, Alabama. He began to speak about fairness for Black people. He told people to take a stand against racism. People were moved by his powerful words, and he was asked to speak to groups all around Montgomery. One day, Martin heard about Rosa Parks. Rosa was arrested for not giving her seat to a white person on a bus in Montgomery. This act set off a boycott. African American people in Montgomery wouldn't ride the buses until laws changed. They needed someone to lead them in protest. Martin was chosen to lead the protest. He encouraged the protesters to fight for their rights. He told them the best weapons were mere words and peaceful actions. After a year, the laws were changed and the bus boycott finally ended. Martin was seen as a hero. His powerful words had brought change. This was the start of the civil rights movement. So as you can see, there was a lot of great information in that story. Now, some of the things that I would love for you to focus on are the bolded words in the story. All right. We had words like segregated, protest, boycott. What I'd love for you to do is go back into the story, and you can get on this story on Epic. I've already set it up as your assignment, but check on Epic and look for those bolded words to see what they mean. Once you know what those words mean, you're going to have a lot more meaning behind why we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. We then switched our gears to poetry. Now, some people's image and view of poetry first is it's just about rhyming words. Now, poetry is more than just rhyming words. Now, take for instance the poem behind me, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Now, as we read through this poem, there are certain things that we need to be mindful of. And the first thing is the rhythm and the beat. Now, in class today, we talked about what causes this rhythm and this beat. And that is the syllables. Now, let's go ahead and read Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Now, I didn't read that normally, did I? If you've ever heard Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, we're used to singing it, aren't we? Because this has a rhythm or a beat. But I was just reading the words there. And if we notice, yes, there are rhyming words. We have star, R, high, sky, and then star and R again. But when we're talking about poetry, the first lesson that I want to teach you is about rhythm. Primarily, it's about the syllables used in the poem and in each line. Now, in each line, there is a pattern. So let's take a look at the first pattern. If we look, twinkle, twinkle, little star. Well, let's count the syllables. And if you remember, syllables are how words are broken up. Usually we can put our hand underneath our chin, and every time it presses down, you know that's a syllable. Twinkle. 2 times. So twinkle has 2 syllables. Well, the other twinkle has 2 syllables. Little, another 2-syllable word. And then star, 1 word or 1 syllable. If we count those up, it equals 7. Now, as we count through every line of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star has 7 syllables. Now, is that coincidence? Absolutely not. When you're creating a poem that has a rhythm, you need to make sure that every line has the same amount of syllables. This helps with our rhythm as we read it and how we present it. All right. For instance, roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. Now, in that case, roses are red. 4 syllables. Every line in that poem has 4 syllables. So when we're talking about rhythm, the rhythm of poetry, we first got to look at the syllables. Now, if you're going to go ahead and write your own poems, make sure that each line that you write has the same amount of syllables. It will help with the rhythm and help with the flow. In Science Today, we started a new unit on living and non-living things. Now, the first thing that we did was we talked a little bit about what is living versus what is not living. Well, you think about what's living, you got animals, you've got people, you've got trees, you've got plants. If you're thinking about non-living, you got things like a rock or a computer. But really, what defines something as living? Well, every living thing has 4 basic needs. Now, we watched a video today, which you can find on Discovery Education. And once you log in, it'll be right there on your homepage when you click on the assignment. The 4 things that we're going to need that were expressed in the video and the reading that we did today were shelter, food, water, and air. Now, think about that for a second. Those are the 4 things that every living thing needs. Well, I know I need shelter. I definitely need food, definitely need water, and of course, I really enjoy breathing. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you think about something that is living, it needs those 4 things. Something that's not living, it's not going to need those 4 things, are they? All right. So I encourage you to log on to Discovery Education, complete the assignment. It's not due till Friday, but it's good to go ahead and get started on it now. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to what we're going to be doing this week and look forward to the new year. We're going to be doing a lot of fun things and learning so much over the next couple months. So please stay tuned, and I cannot wait to see all of you tomorrow.